You reach for your phone before your eyes are fully open. The screen lights up your face as you scroll, searching for anything to fill that hollow feeling in your chest. Another notification, another dopamine hit, another temporary escape from the gnawing emptiness that follows you everywhere. That urge you just felt. It is not weakness, it is conditioning. You are living in the most sophisticated prison ever designed, and the most terrifying part. You built the walls yourself, one pleasurable moment at a time. Here is the devastating truth that will change everything. The pain you are trying so desperately to avoid is the exact pain you need to embrace to become free. The prison without bars, Huxley's prophecy fulfilled. What if I told you that nearly a century ago, a visionary writer predicted exactly how you'd be controlled today? While George Orwell imagined jackbooted thugs and surveillance cameras, Aldous Huxley saw something far more insidious: a world where tyranny would wear the mask of entertainment. In Brave New World, Huxley didn't just write fiction. He wrote a blueprint for modern society. His dystopia wasn't built on fear, it was built on pleasure. Citizens didn't need to be forced into submission because they were too busy being entertained, too overwhelmed with stimulation, too addicted to comfort to even think about rebellion. Look around you right now. How many people do you see staring at screens? How many are plugged into headphones, lost in another world, desperately avoiding the silence of their own thoughts? Huxley's world isn't coming, it is here. But here's what makes this prison so perfect. It feels like freedom. No one's forcing you to scroll through social media for 3 hours. No one's making you binge-watch entire seasons of shows you'll forget next week. No one's holding a gun to your head and demanding you buy things you don't need to impress people you don't like. The most elegant chains are the ones you put on yourself. The conditioning machine, how your mind was hijacked. Every time you feel that familiar ping of boredom, what happens next? Your hand moves automatically to your phone. Your brain craves stimulation. Your body seeks the next hit of artificial pleasure. This isn't accident, it is architecture. From the moment you could hold a device, you've been trained like a laboratory rat. Press the button, get the reward, swipe up, feel good, click the link, escape reality. The system doesn't need to control your thoughts when it can control your impulses. Think about your education. Were you taught to question everything, to sit with discomfort, to think deeply about life's meaning? Or were you taught to memorize information, follow instructions, and avoid anything that made you uncomfortable? The modern world has systematically removed your ability to be alone with your own mind. In Huxley's world, they used hypnopedia learning during sleep. Messages whispered into unconscious minds. Everyone belongs to everyone. A gram of soma solves everything. Today's hypnopedia is more subtle, but far more effective. It is the algorithm that knows what you want before you do. It is the endless scroll designed to capture your attention. It is the carefully crafted notifications that trigger your fear of missing out. You think you are choosing your entertainment, but your entertainment chose you long ago. The most dangerous part? This conditioning makes you allergic to effort. Why struggle with difficult questions when you can watch a funny video? Why face your fears when you can numb them with shopping? Why grow through pain when pleasure is just a click away? But every time you choose the easy path, you become a little weaker. Every time you avoid discomfort, you become more fragile. Every time you distract yourself from difficult thoughts, you lose a piece of your ability to think at all. The weakness factory, how comfort became your cage. Here is what the pleasure pushers don't want you to understand. Suffering is not your enemy, it is your teacher. Imagine a muscle that has never been challenged. What happens to it? It atrophies. It becomes weak, useless, unable to perform when needed. Your mind works the same way. When you consistently avoid mental and emotional challenges, your psychological muscles waste away. Modern society has become a weakness factory, churning out humans who can't handle the slightest discomfort. A delayed text message becomes anxiety. A minor criticism becomes depression. A temporary setback becomes an existential crisis. We've created a generation of people who are emotionally fragile because they've never learned to be emotionally strong. But strength doesn't come from avoiding pain, it comes from walking through it. Every person who has ever achieved something meaningful has had to face moments of profound discomfort. They've had to sit with uncertainty, push through resistance, and grow through challenges that would break someone addicted to comfort. The brutal truth is that pain has purpose. Boredom teaches you to be creative. Loneliness teaches you to be independent. Failure teaches you to be resilient. Frustration teaches you to be patient. But when you immediately medicate every uncomfortable feeling with pleasure, you rob yourself of these essential lessons. The system wants you weak because weak people are easy to control. A society of strong, resilient individuals who can handle discomfort and think for themselves is a dictator's nightmare. But a society of people who can't sit alone with their thoughts for 5 minutes without reaching for a distraction, that society will trade freedom for comfort every single time. The pleasure trap. Why happiness is the wrong goal? You've been sold a lie so fundamental that questioning it feels like heresy. The lie is this: the purpose of life is to be happy, to feel good, to maximize pleasure and minimize pain. This lie is destroying you from the inside out. Pleasure is temporary. It is fleeting. It is addictive. The more you chase it, the more you need, and the less satisfied you become. It is like drinking salt water when you are dying of thirst. It feels good for a moment, but it only makes you thirstier. Think about the most meaningful moments of your life. Were they moments of pure pleasure, or were they moments of challenge, growth, sacrifice, and overcoming? The birth of a child is painful but meaningful. Building a business is stressful but fulfilling. Learning a difficult skill is frustrating but rewarding. Viktor Frankl, who survived the Nazi concentration camps, discovered something profound. Humans can endure almost any suffering if they have a sense of purpose. But humans cannot endure even minor discomfort if their lives feel meaningless. The prisoners who survived weren't the strongest or the luckiest, they were the ones who found meaning in their suffering. Meaning is what you build when you stop running from pain. The modern world doesn't want you to find meaning, because meaningful people are dangerous to systems of control. They can't be bought with trinkets. They can't be distracted with entertainment. They can't be manipulated with promises of easy pleasure. A person with purpose doesn't need constant validation. They don't need to fill every moment with stimulation. They don't need to buy things to feel better about themselves. They are internally driven, self-directed, and immune to the psychological manipulation that keeps everyone else trapped. But finding purpose requires you to do something terrifying. You have to stop running from discomfort and start running toward it. The 4 pillars of liberation, your escape plan. Breaking free from this system isn't easy, but it is possible. It requires you to become a different kind of person, someone who can think critically, tolerate discomfort, resist manipulation, and build meaning instead of consuming pleasure. Pillar 1, strategic pleasure deprivation. You don't need to become a monk, but you do need to regain control over your relationship with pleasure. This means deliberately choosing discomfort in small ways to rebuild your tolerance for it. Delete the apps that steal your attention. Put your phone in another room when you sleep. Take cold showers. Sit in silence for 10 minutes without any entertainment. Fast occasionally. Exercise until it is difficult. Read books instead of watching videos. This isn't punishment, it is training. You are retraining your brain to find satisfaction in simple things and breaking your addiction to artificial stimulation. Pillar 2, embracing the void. The hardest thing for a modern person to do is nothing. To sit quietly without entertainment, without stimulation, without distraction. But this is where freedom begins. When you can be comfortable being uncomfortable. When you can sit with difficult emotions without immediately medicating them. When you can be alone with your thoughts without panic. That is when you become truly free. Start small. Sit for 5 minutes without your phone. Take a walk without headphones. Eat a meal without watching anything. Let yourself be bored. Let yourself feel whatever emotions arise without immediately trying to change them. Pillar 3, critical thinking revival. Question everything, especially the things that everyone around you accepts without question. Why do you want what you want? Who benefits from your desires? What would you do if you weren't afraid of being uncomfortable? Read books that challenge your assumptions. Seek out perspectives that disagree with your worldview. Think deeply about your values instead of absorbing them from social media. Learn to recognize when you are being manipulated and choose differently. Pillar 4, purpose construction. This is the most important pillar, building something meaningful with your life. Not something that feels good, but something that matters. Something that would make you proud to remember on your deathbed. What problems do you want to solve? What skills do you want to develop? What kind of person do you want to become? What legacy do you want to leave? These questions don't have easy answers, but they're the only questions that matter. Purpose isn't something you find. It is something you create through action. The price of freedom, what they don't tell you. Here is what no one talks about when they discuss breaking free from the pleasure prison. It is lonely. When you stop participating in the mass distraction, when you refuse to be entertained into submission, when you choose meaning over comfort, you become different from everyone around you. Some people will admire you for this. They'll be curious about how you develop such discipline and purpose, but others will resent you. Your freedom will make them uncomfortable because it highlights their captivity. They'll try to pull you back into the warm, comfortable prison of endless entertainment. They'll tell you you are taking life too seriously. They'll say you should just relax and have fun. They'll make you feel like something's wrong with you for wanting more than endless distraction. This is the test of your commitment to freedom. The hardest part of escaping the matrix isn't seeing it, it is living outside it when everyone else is still plugged in. But here is what makes it worth it. When you stop seeking pleasure and start building purpose, when you stop avoiding pain and start growing through it, when you stop consuming entertainment and start creating meaning. You become alive in a way that most people never experience. You become someone who can't be controlled, can't be manipulated, can't be bought. You become dangerous to systems that depend on your compliance. You become free. Your moment of choice, the fork in the road. Right now, you are standing at a crossroads. In one direction lies the path you've been walking, the path of comfort, distraction, and artificial pleasure. It is wide and easy, and there are millions of people walking it with you. You can scroll your way back into unconsciousness, buy your way back into temporary happiness, and entertain yourself back into the warm embrace of voluntary slavery. In the other direction lies a narrow, difficult path. It is the path of discomfort, meaning, and real freedom. Most people won't take this path because it requires something they've been trained to avoid: effort. The choice is yours, but understand what you are choosing. If you go back to your old patterns, you'll get your old results. You'll wake up tomorrow with the same emptiness, the same restlessness, the same sense that something important is missing from your life. But if you choose the difficult path, if you are willing to face discomfort in service of something greater, if you are ready to build purpose instead of consuming pleasure, you might just discover what it feels like to be truly alive. The question isn't whether you can break free from this system. The question is whether you will. Every moment of boredom you sit with, instead of immediately filling with distraction, is a small victory. Every time you choose effort over ease, meaning over pleasure, growth over comfort, you take back a piece of your freedom. The system is counting on you to choose comfort. It is betting that you'll stay distracted, stay weak, stay dependent on artificial pleasure to make it through each day. It is betting that you'll never realize your own power to choose something different. Are you going to prove the system right? Or are you going to prove it wrong? The choice is yours. The time is now. Your freedom is waiting on the other side of your comfort zone. What will you choose?